Hello Taurus, welcome to your weekly reading with me, Cindy. So Taurus, this week is the week of the High Priestess readings. We are trying to get into the deeper, darker aspects of the unknown for you, of you, pertaining to you. So we're going to do that. It's mostly, it's pretty much all oracle decks for what I'm doing here on the YouTube video. There is an extended at the end of this. If you are drawn to it, the link is at the top of the description. In the extended, we'll look at the cyclical energy of where you are right now, and we will use tarot cards to find out what from your past is pulling on you, what from your future is trying to push you forward, how this push and pull is affecting you, and then we will ask how to allow all things to flow freely. So that's the extended, but first, because this is High Priestess week, let's get into it. Ooh. Are you ready? So we're gonna get started. I know I'm silly. You know, I thought it was the perfect time. Like, I pre-record these, and Halloween, the blue moon, and turning the clocks back is all surrounding the energy of these High Priestesses. Having said that, I went out and bought some Christmas decorations at Costco today. I was so excited. I like Halloween, but I'm like a Christmas kid. I love it. Alright, we're going to start with the Witch's Oracle. I'm going to pull out a card for you. I'm going to show you what it is. You do not get the incantation of it until the end, because I want you to feel empowered as you leave this reading. A Witch's Oracle for Taurus. Okay. Ooh. Pussycat, the familiar. The black cat. As I just start talking about Halloween. Ooh, today is, what is it, Devil's Night. Nothing ever weird happens. Knock on wood. Devil's Night. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my Starseed Oracle deck. Then I'm going into my Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle deck. And then I'm going into my alchemy deck. And we're going to ask, what is your potency? What is your strength? What is your kryptonite? What is your weakness? What is your nemesis? Which is what actually makes you stronger. And then we're going to ask, what is your next assignment? It's kind of like, a goal in your life journey here. It sounds so big, like, my assignment. Am I up for this? No, you don't have to be. It can be kind of like, Mission Impossible, where the message is destroyed. It's up to you if you decide to take this on. So Taurus, your potency, your kryptonite, your nemesis, your next assignment. Jeez. Ooh. Oh, these are interesting. Oh, these are cool. Alright, give me a second. Okay. And I do at different times in this reading, I might just take some time here. I know I tend to be, if you're familiar with me, great, hi. If you're new to the channel, hi too. But I tend to usually get into it real quick, and a lot is always coming out of my mouth. But during these readings, I do take some time, so your screen is hopefully not actually frozen. I could just be taking time. So to pull in the message and really pull it all together, particularly when I get the rest of the cards out. So, your potency, you have cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. It's a pretty interesting potency. It really tells me that your strength is hitting rock bottom. It's as if there's nowhere else to go but up, right? When you hit the bottom, when you go into the basement or the sub-basement, whatever that is, there's nowhere else to go but up. And that is your strength. That is your strength in this lifetime, I'm hearing. And it seems to be kind of coming through this week. The High Priestess readings are a little bit about this lifetime. There are bits and pieces that are kind of like hinting that, you know, this could be the energy that you're dealing with now. But they seem to be coming out, and I don't know if it's because of the first time I'm doing them. That, and as an introduction, the High Priestess is giving you sort of a recap on this lifetime. But surrendering to the alchemy of life. So once there's nothing else that you can possibly do, because 2, feeling the control, having the control, making the plan, slow and steady wins the race, you know, reassessing, let's try this, let's do that, thinking about all the things you can do. When there is nothing left to do but go up when you've hit the darkest point. When you've hit the darkest point, it's actually like, you know, hitting the basement and the shell cracks open. And look what starts to come out though. It's as if it's the catalyst for you to find you and surrendering to this life. That's your strength. Cracking open. So in a way, it's the painful part of life is what gives you the strength in this lifetime. And that makes a lot of sense. Because without struggle, without pain, without difficulty, there is no strengthening and there is no challenge. So your kryptonite, your weakness, we the Hathors. Deep love, mother's milk, birth is a portal. Perhaps okay, there's an interesting message here. Perhaps your weakness, some of your weakness, your kryptonite here, which makes you kind of vulnerable, is the depth with which you love. And not only that, but I'm feeling like really here with mother's milk and birth as a portal, as finding it difficult, the kryptonite here is the deep love you have and a very nostalgic energy. You know, not wanting to, it almost feels kind of painful, I'm getting, to move away from things that you had so much attachment to in the past. Very nurturing energies. It almost seems like you can feel it and cling to it and want to hold on to it to such an extent that you don't even realize that the energy is shifting and changing. It's time to move forward. It's time with the mother's milk. It's like it's time to come off the breast. It's time to kind of feed yourself. It's time to move forward. But yet it feels so warm and nurturing here. Why would I want to do that? Because, well, there's things to find out about yourself, and you cannot do that all the time in a safe place. You cannot do that all the time in a safe place. When I say safe place, I mean a safe place like the arms of your mother or a parent or someone, you know, that feeling of being totally encompassed in security and love and warmth and protection. It is what we all seek, however, it is not, this is not utopia. So, it's Earth School. You're Nemesis, but it actually makes you stronger. The weight of the world. Boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. That comes in real strong with this one for me too. Because I feel as if also anything or anyone that creates these very nostalgic feelings and emotions for you, you will carry massive burdens for these people, which, you know, in one way is nice, but also everyone has to learn to carry themselves in certain ways in different aspects and parts of their life and throughout their lifetime. So if you're weighting yourself down with other people's problems, it does make you strong. It makes you stronger, but it's also telling you that it's not yours to carry. It's really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what other cards come out with this. I'm really feeling like a very strong commitment and connection, almost to ancestors. Almost to ancestors. So your next assignment, the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. Ooh, this feels like really like doing it on your own here. I mean, an awakening process is something that comes from within. It's very personal, it's very intimate, but between you and your deeper self and energies of the cosmos, it's not, it's a little bit solitary. It is coming out of, oh, look at that, right? Like this is almost like that birthing portal, and this is the card that talked about, you know, the nostalgia, the mother's milk. It's coming out of the darkness. There you are, birthing out of it. Doesn't it? The similarities in this archway. And here, there's your next assignment. Is to move past the Kryptonite and create a new path here. I want to see which animal oracle cards come out under each one of these. With cracked open, your potency, you have the bat. You really do have a very, very, very strong connection with your ancestors. You do have a very strong ability to guide yourself through life changes without hanging on to the past and the past energies that maybe are only like echoes from what used to be. You want to move forward with the, oh, I almost got it. The, my mind is gone. Echolocation, that's it. It's like using this internal guidance system, better knowing, deeper knowing, to move beyond the echoes of the past and towards, and use like an echolocation into the future. Because hitting rock bottom, whatever caused that, any nostalgia from the past, I mean, it led to rock bottom. It would have led to the rock bottom, to hitting the bottom. There are obviously pieces of that that definitely you want to hold on as memories, but we need to move forward, right? Like we can't allow the energy of the past. Someone else, oh, it was in someone's extended where, yeah, the past clung to them like this heaviness. I get a little bit of that here. It's recognizing so that you can flow with life forward that things from the past played out the way they did, but yet if it's led to a rock bottom, it's led to an ending. It's not an energy that you necessarily want to focus on. You can be aware of it and delve into it a little bit once in a while, but it shouldn't be a focus. Your kryptonite, your weakness. We, the Hathors. Deep love, mother's milk, birth is a portal. You have the bear. I'm getting like, again, like this motherly love. This is an ancestral card for me too. And isn't that interesting? Because I said it feels like to me that you carry the weight, something from your ancestors. There's a very strong connection here with your ancestors. Okay, what your nemesis, but this is what makes you stronger, are your boundaries, perhaps the lack of boundaries that you have with family and friends and loved ones, partners. To let that go. I hear this in two ways. You got the cosmic egg for it. We're going to get into that as well. I'm hearing this in two ways. That sometimes the boundaries are literally like, you feel almost like you owe this group of people or this person something. You owe them something, but it's not yours to carry. And with the cosmic egg, like this to me is what's yours to carry. It's making you stronger. It's making you more aware of what is yours to carry. Because this is something special for you. Everyone has got these cosmic eggs. I kind of last week, I don't remember which reading it was, but I started seeing each star in the sky is like the energy of a cosmic egg, because it's a wish. It's the idea, it's the feeling, it's the emotion behind something that you would love to have in this lifetime. Something that's driven divinely from your deeper self. And it is something that was almost planned for you to happen if you can align yourself with it. And if your journey in life kind of happens to lead you there. And imagine almost 8 billion people on Earth, and all those stars are all these little cosmic eggs waiting to turn into eventually a golden egg here on Earth that is hatched out, that is real and three-dimensional. Carrying your own burdens aligns you with your cosmic eggs. But carrying burdens that are not yours excessively or for prolonged periods of time literally like block out your cosmic egg. And I want to say they not only block out yours, they're going to block out someone else's. Because to get to this cosmic egg, we all have to have our journey towards it. It has to be your energy. It has to be their energy to get to the cosmic egg. Your next assignment, is on the way. Oh, I see this oyster the last little while as an awakening, coming out of the deep, dark depths of the ocean, a hidden place of darkness. And I imagine the pearl inside is you, but this has been created by some sort of irritant. Things that irritate, things that hurt, things that are hard to look at, things that you just kind of, you try to protect yourself from it. But once it's ready to hatch out, it's this beautiful thing. It's like you are the pearl. The spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. Sorry, thirsty. My tongue is sore today from my orthodontic appliance. Usually it's on the tip, but today it's on the sides of my tongue. It just makes it feel fat and swollen. So bear with me. Okay, I'm going to go into the alchemy oracle. We're going to pull some lovely High Priestess. The ladies coming out to speak. Speak to you about these areas that have already been discussed. Alright. The potency, your strength. She who doubts, fear, weariness, and trust. Immediately when that card came out, I felt the sort of the ricochet, the aftershock effect of hitting rock bottom. Not trusting the process of life. Not trusting the process of life. Because surrendering to the alchemy of life is your strength, is when you hit this rock bottom. But it's just almost like coming out to say, fear, weariness, and trust having like doubt because you've hit rock bottom. Knowing what to doubt, what is reliable, what is not, what is real, what is not, what has a foundation, what does not, what has stability, what does not. Because when we hit rock bottom, there can be a lot of those questions that play through our mind, like, well, how do we really know? Oh, it reminds me of when I was a little kid. And I know my mom tried to answer it as best as she could. And it was, what did I do? I was shopping with my mom. I don't think I was very old. Like, maybe I was 7 or 8. And I was getting out of the car. And back then, like in the 70s, the kids, we were all over the car. I was in the front seat with her. And it was a big old Buick. And she's getting out on her side. We're going into a mall. And she closed the door. And just as I was closing my door, as she often did, she said, "Wash your fingers." I slammed the door right on. I don't remember which 2 fingers it was. I think it was these 2. Oh my God, it was the worst pain I ever known. You know, when you're little too, like, physical pain is so intense when you're little because it's all new. Oh my God, the pain was so much. And anyways, I dealt with it and everything, and I was fine. They weren't even broken, but boy, were they purple and fat and crushed. So I think it was the next day. She was trying to get me up to go to school. And I said, "No, I don't want to get up, Mommy. I don't want to get up." She's like, "Why? What's wrong?" And she said, "Something bad could happen today." And she's like, "Well, what do you mean? Nothing bad is going to happen. You know, what is bad is going to happen?" And I said, "No, I had no idea that I was going to close that door on my fingers. And if I didn't know that was going to happen, how do I not know that something even worse or just like that can happen today?" Like, it was just like as this little kid, this realization, like, oh my God, like, who knows where my path leads today? And I think she just said to me, I think she said something kind of like, "How many days have you had where nothing like that has happened?" I don't think I've had any days, actually, that I can remember, you know, at that age. She said, "Okay." And that was just one time. And maybe it was that one time because you weren't paying attention, and that was all. Okay. And it was kind of, but it feels, I'm bringing that, it came into my head because it kind of feels like that. If something very big and bad and traumatic that can make you hit rock bottom, it's like, what the hell can I trust in? Is it okay to go outside? Is it okay to feel vulnerable with people again? Is it okay to try to invest myself over here again? I feel like this is all the alchemy, the changing and shifting, coming to terms with the, you know, the journey of life, that there isn't always something that we can predict at the end, but there is always good and bad. So if you've hit rock bottom, it's kind of like, well, you're having the worst day ever. It really can only get better. And for some reason, that's your strength. That's hitting that. Interesting. So your kryptonite, your weakness, we the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal, the bear, and she who knows, wisdom, clarity, and resolution. I feel like your weakness is a little bit like, right, clinging to the past, the nostalgia of the past, yet there's this very, very strong nurturing. This is a very nurturing ancestral energy to me, a very powerful one. And I feel like, you know what, don't always focus on the nostalgia of this lifetime. Focus on even a meditative practice, going deep within and connecting with things, even the deepness within yourself, and you will have answers. It's possibly thinking that those around you who've lived longer or experienced more or done more know more, because they don't necessarily, and not for sure, not necessarily about your life. You're the only one who really knows more about your life than anyone. So leaving the breast, leaving the birth portal, knowing that it is your life and your journey, and you're the one who really is the only one that truly knows. And through that, you will find the wisdom, the clarity, and the resolution to even these rock bottom energies that actually kind of force you forward. It would be nice to sort of force yourself forward and see the signs and the signals to prevent the rock bottom, right? What's your strength if it's your journey? Your Nemesis, what makes you stronger, right? We have the weight of the world, the cosmic egg. And then we have she who emerges, enlightenment, mindfulness, and rise up. I think it's interesting as we're moving down the line here with the cards, you're getting more and more into this enlightenment, this awakening, this rising up. What I really like here is that the pictures, she's submerged in the water, but just her face is above. And in here, she's standing in the water and she's come up out of it. Like she's released these burdens that don't also belong to her, created stronger boundaries to see, like she's looking up, she's seeing. Yeah, nothing else in these cards is really looking up except her finally seeing. Finally creating the healthy boundaries. But often I do feel like carrying the weight of the world before you do that. It does strengthen you because it helps you see. I feel like I'm getting glutton for punishment. I'm hearing a glutton for punishment. Like, really, a glutton for punishment. Because you either invest so much of yourself in so many ways to so many people or things that a lot of it, is going to come back. I feel like you owe people something. I'm really feeling that. Like you owe people something, but you don't really owe anyone anything. If you want to give something of yourself to anyone, just give it. But don't feel like you owe them that. Because if they've given something to you that is really true, they won't feel like you owe them. That's the worst. That's the worst kind of giving ever. To feel like, I owe them this. I need to give them this. Because we should be able to give and receive just openly. And if you're giving, and at some point it feels like it becomes heavy for you, then that is just a time to recognize before hitting rock bottom that, you know what, this does not serve me so well. I've done what I can here. I wish them all the best. I'm going to move my energy this way. I'm going to move my energy this way. Your next assignment. Spontaneous awakening, activation, integration, time. Oyster. She who forgives, remorse, guilt, and forgiveness. Ooh, this is your next journey. Who are you forgiving? Who have you given the heaviest burden to? It kind of feels like yourself. It kind of feels like you've given yourself the heaviest burden here. Remorse, guilt, and forgiveness. To remember, you don't owe anyone anything. I know some people would argue that and say, well, I owe my kids the best education, or I owe my kids this. You don't owe it to them. It's not written in the sky says you owe it to them. But I think if you have a good heart and a stable mind, you want to give them that, right? And that's the beauty in it. Not like, I owe them this, or I owe them. No, because then it's just like the debt collection back and forth. You just naturally want to give them the best thing. So forgive yourself if you don't always come through doing the most spectacular thing, right? That's where you're going here, to forgive yourself. You don't owe anybody anything. You really don't. If you feel like you owe someone something, then kind of look at it and, well, why do you owe them? What is your motivation for providing something for them? Because I would just kind of see it like, well, if I think about my grandfather or my stepdad, that, you know, they both passed away and they got to a ripe old age, I would do anything for them, but I didn't feel like I owed them that. I felt like I loved them to do that. That's the difference. Like, you could say, I owe you my love, or I think it's better, I gift you my love. Like, what can I do for you today? And you know that this person has provided for you in the past and given you so much. But I don't think they gave it to you expecting you to owe them anything. I think they're probably hoping that you'd be around. But, right? I hope that comes through. I'm really feeling this, like a glutton for punishment and feeling like you owe people stuff. No. The only person you owe anything to is you. You owe really knowing yourself, being true to yourself so that you can do that openly and honestly for and with others. And then in that, we serve each other. I mean, we are here to serve each other, but we're not here to serve each other in debt. We're here to serve each other from our hearts. It's an interesting, beautiful reading, actually, Taurus. So those are your cards. Let's get into your big black pussycat, the familiar. Your big black pussycat. Okay, what was the familiar? Was it the cat? Familiar. A familiar is an animal companion of a witch, and they share a magical connection. The black cat was the traditional witch's familiar, but some people connect better with other animals. In shamanistic practices, the animal familiar is not a physical being at all, but a thought form or spiritual entity. It often travels astrally or serves as a magical guardian against those who might try to physically attack the shaman. Today, many pagans have an animal companion that they consider their familiar, and most people no longer, believe that these are spirits or demons inhabiting an animal. Sometimes I think they're like little ancestors that wanted to come down and be there with you. Instead, they have an emotional and psychic bond with a particular animal who is attuned to the powers of its human partner. No matter what kind of creature it might be, the familiar is no mere pet. Rather, the animal is a respected partner and companion who reveals truths and offers the characteristics inherent to its nature to the witch for magical purposes. The meaning. The message of this card is all about showing who you really are and revealing truths about yourself that you have locked away for a very long time, not just to others, but to yourself as well. These have become burdensome, and you need to stop carrying that heavy weight around. It's time to come out from your hiding place and show your true colors. Yeah. And two, maybe you feel like you owe, even playing a certain archetype in life to appease your parents or your family or your boss or whoever. And it becomes this heavy burden because it's not really who you are. And then it can kind of get into that feeling like you're owed something for doing this for them, or it can get into resentment. But to release all that, to truly be who you are, so there are no burdens like that are being carried. So the incantations, I'm going to try to say it as best as I can. I find these are most powerful when said 3 times. Strip away the invisibility cloak. I must stand tall like the mighty oak. There is nothing more I need to hide, and now can show myself with pride. Do it one more time for you. Strip away the invisibility cloak. I must stand tall like the mighty oak. There is nothing more I need to hide, and now can show myself with pride. I do like it. All right, Taurus, my dear bovine friends. I'm going to go through the extended, and I've already talked about what that all is. We're blah, blah, blah again. So it'll be interesting to see what your push and pull is going on here. Thank you, my dear friends. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.